Big weights going up under the lights. 2 years ago, we had the barbell complex. Last year was Danny Spiegel wowing the crowd on the log press. This year, it's the max deadlift. It is event 6 here at the 2023 Rogue Invitational. And the women are ready to try to pull some big weights off the ground. Thanks for being with us, everybody. I'm Sean Woodland alongside former Affiliate Cup champion Adrian Conway, and Kiki Dixon is down on the field. And Adrian, I mean, there is just nothing like a crowd and the lights and heavy weights.
It's really where magic happens, to be honest with you. And these athletes are going to need every ounce of that magic tonight, as they've been through quite a lot the first 2 days and into now the third day of competition. And they're going to be riding high on all the adrenaline that comes from this magical atmosphere here in event 6.
Here are the overall standings coming into this event, and it is Tia Toomey who remains atop the overall standings. But that 60-point lead that she had going into the duel is now down to 10 points over Laura Horvath. Emma Lawson sits in third. She's 30 points clear of Gabby McGowan for that final spot on the podium, and it's Emma Carey who rounds out the top 5. The max deadlift presented by Yeti. Pretty simple. Just lift big.
Just lift big, and all you have to do is pull the weight off the floor to fully extended legs at the top. The hips and knees and the shoulders need to be behind the load. Of course, the athletes are going to do that with both hands on the barbell. Any grip is appropriate, and feet must be within your hands.
So we will start with 4 lifting platforms, 4 groups of 5 athletes. The weights start at 305. This is going to run a lot like the log press did last year. You got Laurel Horvath, Shelby Neal, Kyra Milligan, and Danny Spiegel. No problem at 305. The 4 of them will stay alive. Once we get down to 10 athletes, we'll move to the 2 center platforms, and when we get down to the final 5, we will move to that big platform there in the middle.
Three, 2,
Paige Powers,
rotate.
Elena Caratala, Emily Rolfe, and Paige Semenza will be up next.
3, 2, 1, lift.
Caratala is good. Powers is good. Rolfe will get her lift, and Paige Semenza gets through.
And Semenza, with the way that she executed that last event there in event 5, the speed, the power she was able to show us, we know that she is a hockey background as an athlete. She's going to be a strong puller from the floor. She's got a pretty strong listed deadlift at 395. Don't exactly know when the last time she pulled that was, but it still seems like there's plenty of room left to go for her.
3, 2, 1, lift.
Weight stays at 305 as we work our way through the first round. Roseanne Brandon, Melanie Inez, and Bethany Flores. No problem.
And Bethany Flores chose to not even take a rep. She just kind of raised her hand, waved at the crowd, understanding that the juice isn't worth the squeeze for her, and where she's at in her recovery from a back injury that she sustained just a little over a year ago, to not be able to quite be prepared to pull this load off the floor.
Watching that on Inez and missed that from Bethany Flores. Thanks for the update on that. We saw her, Bethany Flores, pass up on a back squat yesterday to receipt at the bar.
And that whole crew, I would say Ariel Lowen moving the bar the slowest. Christine Kohlenbrander picked that up like it was empty. That shows great promise for her as the weight gets heavier. One thing is the audience will be able to look for and maybe have some dictators on where athletes will go with the deadlift is the speed that the barbell leaves the ground. As athletes take the slack out of the bar and create the tension in their posterior, what you want to see is that the bar travels to that lockout position fairly quickly. The longer that it takes to reach lockout, of course, the increased time under tension and the more difficulty the athletes will have to make it through this ladder.
Horvath, Lawson, and Carey, no problem.
Three, 2, 1, rotate. Now
we will change the weight up to 315 3:15. 19 of the 20 women still alive, as Bethany Flores, as you mentioned, Adrian, didn't make an attempt. There's Danny Spiegel, coming off that event win in the dual 3.
Yeah, and Spiegel wasn't thrilled about the announcement of the deadlift. It wasn't something that she actually looked forward to doing a ton. It seemed like she would be excited. Everyone would naturally assume, Danny Spiegel's got to be your favorite for the lift. And she's like, oh, you might be surprised. I don't know. Deadlift is probably my least favorite 100 max to do. So we'll see what she brings to the table. Now, she's got a listed deadlift at about 420. Again, I don't know when the last time she hit that 420 was. We don't often test the 100 max deadlift until it presents itself, or a unique cycle that these athletes might be going through in their training. But it's a relevant number. We know that Danny is traditionally one of the strongest, if not the strongest athlete in the field.
Tia Toomey, your overall leader with 420 points, but took a 12th place finish in the duel and saw her lead shrink from 60 points to 10 over Laura Horvath. Let's talk about the keys to an event like this and this structure of a max rep lift.
Yeah, well, structure is everything. How it presents itself. I really love the structure that it's presented as it builds in load. But the number one focus is they've got to pull with speed. I mentioned this. The audience can watch this as we've got 4 lifters out there at once. You want to see how quickly that bar travels from that mid-shin position to the complete lockout. If there's a hitch or a pause at the knee, you're already understanding the athlete's starting to create some trouble and trying to find a way to navigate the knee to get it up to their hip. The other one is that they need to stay tight. People will understand this cue from a coaching perspective. If you've been training in an affiliate and you pick up a heavy load off the ground, we've got to brace the musculature around our spine. The more firm that we can create this unchanging block around our spine and our hips, the more advantageous we will be to making the power transfer from our legs to the barbell.
Weight now moves to 315. Karin Freyova, Shelby Neal, Kyra Milligan, and Danny Spiegel will be first up. Milligan is good, Spiegel's good, Shelby Neal's lift is good, and Karin Freyova is through.
You notice there, Shelby, again, she probably had the slowest lift of the 4, and it showed in regards to how much strain or stress that lift created for her there at 315.
3, 2, 1, rotate.
Up next, Paige Powers, Elena Caratala, Emily Rolfe, and Paige Semenza.
2, 1, lift.
All 4 women are good.
Those were solid lifts. Paige Powers actually had a better lift there at 315 than she did at 305, which is a very good sign. She might have needed to simply wake her body up, prime her central nervous system with that first lift, and be more sharp. Caratala and Emily Rolfe both had a slower lift, so those are athletes we've got to keep our eye on as we make our way back to 325 on the next round, as that could be a load that is closer to their threshold.
Next up, Danielle Brandon, Alex Kazan, and Manon Anganez. Bethany Flores would have been in the upper right-hand part of your screen. All 3 women good at 315.
Alex Kazan is one of the athletes that I would definitely have my eye on here. She's a strong puller. She's got longer upper body limbs. She's got longer arms, which helps her create very good leverage on the barbell from where it typically sits on athletes at the mid-shin position. And when you have that advantage from a limb length perspective, it allows you to create better leverage on the load.
3, 2, 1, lift.
Christine Kohlenbrander, Ariel Lillen, Lauren Fisher, and Gabby McGowan. They are all through.
Made easy work of that lift.
Now final round at 315. Top 4 women in the overall standings: Emma Carey, Emma Lawson, Laura Horvath, and Tia Toomey.
3, 2, 1.
4 of the top 5. Gabby McGowan comes in the place, and Carey sits the 5th.
3, 2, 1, lift.
Carey's good, Toomey's good, Lawson and Horvath no problem. Now the weight moved to 325 pounds. Still 19 women alive here.
This movement pattern that the deadlift asks of us as athletes is categorized as a hinge. Sean, they've hinged a lot today. They did 120 power snatches. Yes, it was a lighter load, but at 65 pounds, it certainly added up over the accumulation of that volume during the 10th inning. And then even specifically for the athletes that advanced deep into event 5, the dual 3, they had to do 3 sandbags to the teeter at 150 pounds every clip. So they're certainly feeling it in their posterior chain, and this lift is only waking up those muscles one more time here before they wrap up the day.
Barbells have been loaded at 325 pounds, and we are set for round 3. Colleen Ferreira, Shelby Neal, Kyra Milligan, and Danny Spiel to lead us off again. There's Kyra Milligan. Comes in 18th place overall. Her best finish was a 6th place in event 2. Milligan making her first appearance here as an individual at the Rogue Invitational. Replay of Toomey at 315.
T on her deadlift. Has a great setup, hips a little bit higher than other athletes in the setup and execution, but very smooth, very clean. Same with Laura Horvath here. She chooses to go the double overhand hook grip. And then we've got a mixed grip here from Lawson as well. Right hand over. You see the palm of her left hand where it's turned the opposite direction. These opposing forces help athletes hold on to that bar as it gets heavier and heavier, and of course, heavier.
Now we move to the third barbell, 325.
10 seconds.
Ferreira, Neal, Milligan, and Spiegel. No problem with Milligan. Spiegel can get it. Neal is good. Ferreira is good.
Yeah, good lift for Shelby Neal there. You know, she has a bit of a squattier setup compared to a lot of the other athletes. Her being shorter in stature, she drops her butt a little bit lower, bending at the knees. And so as she navigates the knee, she has to shift her hip forward to finish the lift. And that forces her deadlift to be a touch slower, Sean. But I'll tell you what, for the body weight listed that we see for Shelby Neal, she's getting into some pretty heavy and substantial loads already.
Now Paige Powers, Elena Caratala, Emily Rolfe, and Paige Semenza.
Keep her out. Rolfe and Caratala, they struggled on the last bar. Looks like it's moving.
Rolfe is not going to get it.
And Caratala also missed it. Yep.
So 2 women out here. Elena Caratala, Sana Huya, so her best lift will be at 315, as will Emily Rolfe.
And again, with one of the keys being pull with speed, this is a great precursor to when an athlete is close to their threshold. It gets sticky, it gets slow, particularly around the knee. The next bar might be glued to the ground. Easy work for us.
Dan is good. No Manganese is good. Danielle Brandt. In the event the 2 athletes fail on the same bar, we had a tiebreaker earlier. It was a jerry can carry for time, 70 pounds in each hand. That time will be your tie-break time.
And that lift there for Danielle Brandon, that's a pretty big lift for her from my understanding. She doesn't have a listed deadlift currently as a 1-rep max or all-time best, but she looked very pleased with being successful at 325.
Christine Kohlenbrander, Ariel Lowen, Lauren Fisher, and Gabby McGowa coming up next. Fisher's good.
Lots of room left for all of those women there.
Kohlenbrander, Lowen, Fisher, and McGowa all stay alive. Down to our final 4, Emma Carey, Emma Lawson, Laura Horvath, and Tia Toomey. 30 seconds in which to complete the lift.
3, 2, 1, lift.
All 4 women in this final round are good, and the weight will now move to 335, so we're down to 17 athletes as Elena Caratala and Emily Rolfe bow out in that round.
And Emma Carey had a bit of a struggle there on 325, getting it moved off the ground. Once she got it moving, once she broke that dead weight of the bar off the floor, it moved quite nicely, but it was definitely a fight for her to get it moving. So that'll be a weight here at 335 where we got to watch Emma Carey. That might have been her last successful deadlift. We'll see what she can do.
Crew is out changing the weights. The equipment crew here all weekend long has done a fantastic job keeping this competition rolling as they always do. Without our volunteers, these competitions do not happen. I want to thank everybody who's volunteered their time and come out here and work so hard in some pretty hot and humid weather to keep this competition going. Now we move to 335 pounds. Back to the top of the order. Freyova, Neal, Milligan, and Spiegel to lead us off here. "17 women still left. When we get down to 10, we'll move into the 2 middle platforms. When we get down to 5 women, that's when we head to the single big platform there at home plate.
That's right, and here's Elena. You'll notice that bar is just glued to the ground, and she knows that's it. I've met my match there for the night, and it's the same with Emily Rolfe. Folks, when you miss a deadlift, the best thing that can happen is it's just glued to the ground, and you live to deadlift another day. Tia, with her mixed grip, takes a split second to get that bar moving, but once it starts to go vertically, it's moving with great speed all the way to the top.
Now we are set for 335 pounds. Karin Freyova, Shelby Neal, Kyra Milligan, and Danny Spiegel stepping up.
Watching Shelby Neal specifically, that bar slowed down just a little bit on her last lift in the upper left-hand corner.
Milligan and Spiegel, no problem. Freyova's good. Shelby Neal fights through that.
She did a great job there.
All 4 women get through at 335. Paige Powers and Paige Semenza will be the next 2 up.
Both of these women looked very strong even at 325. They're waving at each other from all the way across the floor, as it probably seems a little awkward that there's about 30 yards between them.
And somehow the 2 athletes with the same first name wound up in the same group. Paige Powers and Paige Semenza. Powers is good. Semenza taking her time. She just set up and she hits her lift.
Both strong lifts for both women there. Great body posture. Hips and shoulders rose together at the same rate till that barbell passed their knee, and then they extended the hip to stand tall. It's exactly what you want to see. It's the way that we teach the deadlift to be executed. They look like there's still some room for them to continue to climb.
Brandon Gazan and Manon Anganez up next.
3, 2, 1,
Daniel Brandon, the one that we got to watch here at this particular weight.
No problem for Gazan. Anganez rips that off the floor. Here's Danielle Brandon. Brandon hits it.
And she's smiling again walking back, so she's pleased to continue to stay in the fight.
Danielle Brandon, 12th place overall, but coming off her best finish of the competition. She took 5th place in the duel. Now Christine Kohlenbrander, Ariel Lowen, Lauren Fisher, and Gabby McGowan back to the bar.
This is 5 pounds over the listed PR that Ariel Lowen has publicly.
Fisher's good. McGowan's good. Kohlenbrander.
They smoked it. Ariel looked really good at 335.
4 women advance. Now to the final round. Emma Carey, Emma Lawson, Laura Horvath, and Tia Toomey.
Emma Carey on the left, and what I would consider lane 1 is the one that struggled on the last bar the most of this grouping.
She'll be in the bottom left-hand part of your screen, Emma Carey.
Can she fight through this, get that bar up off the ground? She got it. Wow.
And Carey fights through that. Lawson, Horvath, and Toomey are good as well. Weight will now move to 345 pounds. Still 17 women alive here.
Tia's still moving that bar with great speed and also no belt. She's out there with no belt on, no bracing around her abdominal or her low back. It's very common to see most of, if not all of these athletes wearing some type of back support, and she's choosing not to wear one. And it could be something, just a simple decision. She has better awareness, better bracing ability in the hinge position to protect her spine without it there, versus other women are utilizing it as a catalyst to brace against.
Weight going up to 345. 17 women left.
Looks like we got to clean off a bar a little bit here.
We're getting to some weights now where people are starting to struggle a little bit here.
They are. The reps become a little slower, a little more grindy. If you notice, though, Danielle does a great job, again, keeping the relationship between her hips and shoulders the same until the bar passes her knees, and then she's able to extend her hips. There's a little hitch there, but she got the work done. Now, Emma, you'll watch, it almost takes a full second for her to get that bar to nudge, and as it does, it moves slowly. A few hitches to get it all the way to the upright position. What a fight by Emma Carey.
345 pounds on the barbell now. Back to the top of the order. Karine Freyova, Shelby Neal, Kyra Milligan, and Danny Spiegel back up. Still plenty of time before we reset here. There is Danny Spiegel talking things over with Paige Semenza. Spiegel managed to gain 4 spots in the overall standings. She moved up from 17th to 13th, courtesy of her event win in the duel.
And Sean, with her history, I mean, we could be right here on the brink of her winning back-to-back events at the Rogue Invitational.
Said she wasn't too excited about the deadlift, but she's still super strong. We saw that in the duel, picking up those 150-pound sandbags and tossing those things around.
Maybe she just wanted the rest of the field to forget. You know, hey, don't worry about me. I don't like the deadlift. She's not fooling anybody.
Freyova, Neal, Milligan, and Spiegel at 345. That was no problem for either Milligan or Spiegel. Freyova threw that in. Shelby Neal continues to stay alive. That's a great fight from Shelby Neal. 19th place overall. Best finish was a 10th in event 2.
We talk about how important bracing is. That was the second key to success here. Stay tight. And athletes, it's really essential. The heavier the weight gets, the longer it takes them to stand. They've got to be able to sustain a static trunk, because that weight wants to go with gravity down to the floor.
Paige Semenza and Paige Powers. Powers on the left, she is good. Semenza on the right, who's taking her time to get started here. And Semenza hits her lift.
And Paige Semenza has done a great job at making every lift look the same thus far. I don't think the speed has changed, even though the weight has gone up. The earlier reps weren't particularly fast, but they haven't really slowed down at all.
Up next, Danielle Brandon, Alex Gazan, and Manon Anganez. Keep an eye on Danielle Brandon. Put up a good fight to get through 335. See what she can do with 345 pounds here. Anganez and Gazan are good. Now Brandon for her attempt. And Danielle Brandon will not be able to get through that. Brandon will be eliminated. Her best lift, 335 pounds. And we're down to 16 athletes.
And I think Danielle will be overall pleased with that. Maybe not in relation to the field. Of course, she's going to say, I got to get stronger, I got to be better. But in relation to where she's at in her strength journey, I think that's a step in the right direction.
Christine Kohlenbrander, Ariel Lowen, Lauren Fisher, and Gabby McGowa. Fisher is good. McGowa, Lowen, and Kohlenbrander all get through.
Gosh, Christine Kohlenbrander makes these weights look, it looks like she's about to power clean it. I'm gonna be honest. The speed
Probably could.
the speed she builds off the floor, I'm like, oh, wow. You could probably just jump into your shoulders.
Final 4 athletes coming up next. Emma Carey, Emma Lawson, Laura Horvath, and Tia Toomey. Watching Emma Carey here on the left-hand part of your screen. She gets right to work. Toomey's good. Horvath is good. Carey missed the attempt. Emma Lawson is through, and Emma Carey has plenty of time here to make another attempt. 15 seconds left for Emma Carey. Crowd getting behind her.
She's gonna pull on the bar. It ain't having the day.
Not going to happen for Emma Carey. So she will bow out. We're down to 15. Now we go to 355 pounds. Emma Carey came in 5th place overall. She was only 20 points up on Ariel Lowen, who was still alive here.
And that was a heck of a fight that she put up, Emma Carey, to get that last lift at 335. And when you do that, it just drains you of so much energy. Even if you think 345 is potentially there, it cost her so much to make that 335-pound lift that the fatigue just continues to add up, and it makes it tougher and tougher to go up through the ladder.
One more look at Emma Carey. Got it to budge, but just couldn't get it past the point to where she could really start to get to work. Meanwhile, Emma Lawson, she hit her lift at 345.
Yeah, and it looked good. She really moves well through the knee, and then there's a little bit of hesitation through the mid-thigh, but she is smooth off the ground.
No problem for Tia Toomey. "15 women remain. Moving up to our 6th round here at 355 pounds. Drayova, Neal, Milligan, and Spiegel up next. And Shelby Neal in the red top and black pants toward right center of your screen has been putting up a really good fights here as these weights have gotten heavier. One of the smaller athletes in the field.
Yeah, if she keeps all things considered the same, I think she's got a great chance to stand this up.
Spiegel and Milligan continue to just tear through these barbells. Drayova's good. Neal's fighting her way through it, and she will have it. All 4 women in round 1, they stay alive at 355.
Great lift for Shelby Neal. I mean, 365 could be in there tonight if she's still feeling good.
Paige Powers and Paige Semenza up next.
Both these women still look strong on that last bar.
Powers getting it to move, and Paige Powers is through. Paige Semenza taking her time. Has yet to make an attempt. Here's attempt number 1 at 355 for Semenza, and that is good.
The Paiges live to deadlift another round. Paige Powers, it really slowed down tremendously for her. You noticed it took about a full second again. She engaged the bar, took the slack out. There was a pause. Then it started to go upward. That might be one of the last lifts we see her do tonight, just from the way that her body had to maneuver in order to make that lift successful.
Alex Gazan and Manon Angane is up next at 355. Gazan mauls that. Angane is as good as well. 8 women remain. Make that 7 women remain. 2 rounds left. Kohlenbrander, Lowen, Fisher, and McGowan will be up next.
3, 2, 1.
Lowen in the upper left-hand part of your screen. Kohlenbrander bottom left. McGowan bottom right. And Lauren Fisher top right. Fisher gets through. McGowan is good. Kohlenbrander and Lowen fails that rep, and she's going to call it. Ariel Lowen bows out. Her last successful lift, 345 pounds. Now we're down to 14. Final 3 women coming up next: Emma Lawson, Laura Horvath, and Tia Toomey. Here come Lawson, Horvath, and Toomey, stepping up to 355. Final round here at this weight. No problem for Toomey. Horvath is good. And Lawson is good.
Great lift for Lawson. Now Lawson, the way she executed that lift, again, it comes past her knee very smoothly, and then she struggles a little bit more at the lockout. It's something similar to what we saw Ariel Lowen do 2 bars ago, which led to her bowing out in this particular lift. So it's one of those things where Emma Lawson is going to have to continue to keep that speed that she has as the bar passes her knee in order to lock out if she wants to hit 365 on the next bar.
Moving up to 365 pounds now. 14 women remain.
And here was Ariel Lowen on the miss. Sean, she is like a fraction of a centimeter away from making this lift. If she gets that thing a little bit higher onto her thigh, she has got an opportunity to hitch back and stand it up. And then this is the difference between what Ariel did and Lawson did. Lawson has the same slowing there, but she was able to pull her shoulders behind the bar and shift her hips forward to reach that fully extended position. What a great finish there by Emma Lawson.
Now 14 women are left. When we get down to 10, again, we'll move into the 2 middle platforms. The final 5 will then lift on the 1 platform there on home plate at Dell Diamond Stadium. We move back to the top of the order. Karen Freyova, Shelby Neal, Kyra Milligan, and Danny Spiegel at 365 pounds. Danny Spiegel put on a show last year in that log press event. Hoping for a similar result tonight.
This is going to be one of those weights that's going to really start to create some separation from the strongest within this group, from those that are probably in PR territory. So there's going to be a significant amount of women that still continue on, but I think this bar and the next bar are going to be some big separators here in the group.
Freyova, Neal, Milligan, and Spiegel up first at 365 pounds. Milligan moving that easily, as is Danny Spiegel. Shelby Neal starting to struggle. She'll miss her first attempt. Freyova is through. See if Neal makes a second attempt. She's got about 15 seconds to go here. Crowd behind Shelby Neal. 365, second attempt. Not able to get it.
It's a nice Shelby, but she's pumped about her effort, and so are we. I mean, what a great showing for her all the way through that 355-pound barbell.
Now 13 women are left. Shelby Neal will leave with a last successful lift at 355 pounds. Great result for Shelby. Now it's Paige Powers and Paige Semenza. Powers with a no rep. Here's Semenza, takes that extra time to get set up, and Paige Semenza will have it. Second attempt for Powers. She's not going to get that to go, so now Powers is done. We're down to 12. Alex Kazan and Manila Anganese stepping up next to 365 pounds.
And everybody watching who has had the experience of building to a heavy deadlift, you know that feeling. One lift feels great and the next one just is glued to the ground.
No problem for Alex Kazan. Manila Anganese is good as well. Wow. Manila Anganese is a former Belgian champion in weightlifting in 69 kilos. Has her eyes on possibly qualifying for the 2024 Olympics.
That's amazing.
Now we move to Christine Kohlenbrander, Lauren Fisher, and Gabby McGowa. 365 pounds here as we're down to 12 women. Fisher is good. Kohlenbrander and McGowa all getting through 365 pounds.
Lauren Fisher moved that 365. way faster than I expected, Sean. Like this is a great, if we want to talk about a pure strength test, this is a great one to come for Lauren Fisher specifically. She's a strong athlete, of course, but this is going to be one that really, really leans in her favor.
Final round, Emma Lawson, Laura Horvath, and Tia Toomey. Keep an eye on Emma Lawson as she really had to fight that last 355-pound barbell. Toomey and Horvath are good. Lawson.
That's the spot. She got to hit forward. She got it.
And will get it. Hitches her way through it, and Emma Lawson stays alive.
She might not even be sure how at that point. That flip of the hair and the smile. How'd I get that?
Somewhere Rob Kearney is smiling. That's a strongman athlete who, if you watch him deadlift, he does that same thing. He'll get his hips under, he hitches it up, and it is effective. And Emma Lawson uses it to move past 365 pounds.
And Toomey out there with the mixed grip, beltless, showing off that mom strength. Made it still look easy at 365 for her. Horvath double overhand hook grip. Not even one slightly difference about that compared to the 335 and 345 lighter weights. And then Emma Lawson makes great work through the knee, and then it hits a stick point, but she finds a way to get those hips extended at the top. The rep was good.
We go through 365 pounds, moving up to 375 pounds next. 12 women remain. See on the right side of your screen, the women who have been eliminated so far: Neal, Powers, Lowen, Brandon, Carey, Caratala, Rolfe, and Flores. Now things starting to get serious here. 375 pounds out there on the bar. 12 athletes remain. This could be the final round where we are lifting on all 4 platforms.
Yeah, this is where the rubber's going to meet the road for several of these ladies. We saw, a few bow out on the 365 bar, but now we're into some heavy territory. Freyova had a bit of a sticking point on that last lift. This will be big if she can make this one happen.
Freyova, Milligan, and Spiegel at 375. Spiegel, no problem. Milligan is through. Freyova not able to budge that. Now we are down to 11.
And just knows she kind of packs it in. She had plenty of time to make another attempt, but as an athlete, it's important to feel this out and have that awareness. Is it worth it? Is it not worth it? She knows that her body's probably tired. Her central nervous system is really fatigued, and it's better to come back and be ready to perform tomorrow.
Paige Semenza will be out there on her own now. Looking to get the crowd behind her here, 375 for Paige Semenza. Hockey player from Ohio State. And she shoots, she scores. Semenza gets through 375.
Great lift. She has certainly spent some time with power lifters or amidst other power lifters that specialize in the deadlift. From the way she sets her belt to the way she braces her midline, addresses the bar, pauses, takes her time. It's textbook.
Alex Kazan and Manon Anganese, and the two of them had no problem with those barbells.
Still warming up for those ladies.
Holenbrander, Fisher, and McGowan coming up next. Eleven women remain here.
Bar slowed down a little bit on that last lift at 365 for Gabby McGowan, so we'll see how well at 375 moves. I think she can still make it. It's just going to take a little bit more out of her.
Fisher's good at 375. Holenbrander's through, and McGowan stays alive. Move into the final round now. Emma Lawson, Laura Horvath, and Tia Toomey. And Emma Lawson really had to fight at 365. We'll see what she has left here for a lift at 375 pounds.
Don't expect her to make it through this round, but I know she's going to give it a good fight. She's going to get that bar off the ground. It's just all about what happens as she approaches the knee and gets it around there.
Here we go. Toomey's good. Horvath is good. Now Lawson. Take a second to get reset. Cinching up the belt. The crowd trying to urge her on here. So 375 for Lawson. And Emma Lawson's fighting it. And just can't get past the knees. That was really close.
Very close for her, Sean, it was. And you wonder, you know, the way she addressed the bar, maybe it was a touch too early on the first attempt because she didn't even get as far as she did on that second. So had she prepped and primed just a little bit and not made the 2 attempts, just turned it into 1, she might have been fruitful or at least closer.
I'm able to laugh about it, but man, that was close for Emma Lawson. If she got it above the knee, she could try and hitch that thing up.
Yeah, it's not common that we see a lot of athletes fail at that point in their deadlift, but it's certainly something that can happen. She puts a great effort. She's got a great setup. Hips and shoulders rise together up to that point, but she doesn't have the ability to finish the lift and shift her hips forward and pull those shoulders back. It's a sticking point. She can train this in her training and build through that plateau. Paige Semenza smooth all the way up from the ground. Great braced posture, and that's simply a textbook deadlift.
We are now down to 10 women, so we will move to the 2 inside platforms. And when we get down to 5, we move to the big platform, and that's when it really gets fun. Gonna go up to 380 pounds next. Make 5-pound jumps from here on out until we have a winner. And again, in the event that 2 athletes are eliminated on the same barbell, their time in the jerry can carry for time is what will be used as a tiebreak. They had 2 70-pound jerry cans that they had to carry across the field earlier. That is their tiebreak time for this event. Athletes on the left still alive. Athletes on the right, they're the ones who've been eliminated. There's some good battles shaping up here now as we move to the 2 inside platforms. Milligan, Spiegel, and Anganese have all looked really good here, as has Lauren Fisher.
And we're already 7 singles into this event. So these athletes started their lifts at 305 and made their way all the way through 375. We're beginning our 8th lift.
380 pounds now on the barbell. Alex Gazan, Christine Kohlenbrander, and Danny Spiegel. It's going to be Milligan and Spiegel up first. $380.
Texas big.
We're getting there.
I don't imagine that either of these women are going to have a real problem with this weight based on what we saw from them in the earlier bars.
Here we go. Milligan and Spiegel belting up. $380 for each. Milligan is good. And Spiegel will make that.
Slight hitch there from Danny. A little bit of a pause at the bottom from Kyra, right? It looks like what we're starting to see is each athlete might have a little bit of a different sticking point when they reach that point, but both were successful there.
Paige Semenza and Alex Gazan up next.
You know Alex is fast off the floor to extension. Paige takes her time.
And Semenza's not even going to make an attempt. Kazan is through. Semenza bows out at 375. Should be good enough for a 10th place finish in this event.
Yeah, great performance there by Paige Semenza, and it's a beautiful thing to have athletes express this self-awareness where they just kind of know, hey, again, I'm throwing in the towel. I think this is a great example to CrossFitters across the world when we walk in with our ego to the affiliate and we want to do a 1 rep max deadlift. It's important to film yourself, have your coach nearby, let them know when your forms break them down, and shut it down. Live the deadlift another day. It's a fruitful lift. We just got to be healthy enough to do it all the time.
Manon Enganez and Christine Kohlenbrand. Kohlenbrand is good. Enganez is going to hitch that up, and that will count. Her judge telling her to, I think, lock out the hips there, and she was able to do it before the barbell came down.
Yeah, she did a great job finishing. It was slightly, she had a lockout on one side and not on the other. So she did a good job showing the judge what he needed to see there in that moment, but it certainly took a lot out of her because it extended the time for her to hold that weight in her hand. So that could be something that affects her here at the next weight.
Now Lauren Fisher and Gabby McGowa. Fisher rips that off the ground, and now McGowa at 380, not gonna get it. Crowd getting behind Gabby McGowa. She gets set up for one more attempt.
If she can get this past her knee, Sean, she can finish it.
McGowa not able to get it. Now we are down to 8 women. McGowa bows out at 375 as well, failing to lift 380. And now our 2 overall leaders here. Tia Toomey in first place, Laura Horvath in second. And both of them will make 380. 8 women are left. We move up to 385 pounds.
3, 2, 1, rotate.
Weights get changed. Take a look at Manon Enganez.
Yeah, and you notice she puts up a tremendous fight to lock out. You notice her left side still lagging a little bit, and then she's got to lock that leg out in order to make it count. Judge gives her a down signal to cue her that the lift was good. Laura Horvath, on the other hand, lifts 380 the same way she lifts 305, fast.
Like you said, man, well, just kept going and power cleaned that thing because looked pretty light for Laura Horvath. So we are now down to 8 women as Semenza and McGowa both fail at 380. Milligan, Spiegel, Gazan, Enganez, Kohlenbrander, Fisher, Horvath, and Toomey all still alive. We move up to 385 pounds. Milligan and Spiegel will be the first 2 out. Kyra Milligan looking for her best finish of the competition, although she did take 6th place in event number 2. Since then, everything's been 15th or lower. She will definitely improve on that here in event 6.
And we've talked about this with Kyra earlier in this week, Sean, but we haven't had an opportunity to see her compete individually at a very high level much. But we saw her at the CrossFit Games last year on the CrossFit Mayhem team, and this is going to be a great experience for her. We know from the data that we've seen and from hearing from her coaches, any strength test is certainly something she looks forward to, so this is just an opportunity for her to really rack up some points against the field.
Milligan and Spiegel are ready. 385 on the bar. Milligan is good, and Spiegel is good as well. Alex Gazan will lift all by herself.
As easy as Laura Horvath made that last 380 lift, Alex Gazan made it look equally as easy. So I don't know that 385 will present any kind of problem to her at this point either.
Alex Gazan in 9th place overall. After her event win in event 2, she came up with a 16th and a 17th. Got a 4th in the duel. That is no problem for Alex Kazan at 385. Christine Kohlenbrander and Manon Anganez are up next.
Manon Anganez is the one that we watched fight really hard for that 380. 385 is here, but it's got to be a much cleaner lift. She won't be able to have that same amount of time under tension and get away with having to take the pause to show her judge what they need to say at the top. So she's got to get there and get there smoothly.
385 for Anganez and Christine Kohlenbrander. Kohlenbrander is no good, and Anganez is no good. Two more women have dropped out now.
Sean, I got to tell you, I'm surprised there to see Kohlenbrander bow out so soon. I mean, there wasn't even a hesitation at 380. There was not even a hitch there. So to see her bow out at that barbell tells me that she's really feeling it. The fatigue is built up for her.
Crowd behind Lauren Fisher, who's had a great competition so far. 8th place overall. Best finish was a 7th, as she is unable to get through 385 pounds. We're down to 5 women, so this is now the last time we'll be lifting 2 at a time. Horvath and Toomey up next, 385 pounds for the two of them.
Both have listed deadlifts of over 400 pounds.
Horvath and Toomey. Toomey coming into this event with a 10-point lead over Horvath. Horvath was able to carve 50 points off of Toomey's cushion during the duel, and both of them are good. 5 women remain, and we will move to the single platform. Kyra Milligan, Danny Spiegel, Alex Kazan, Laura Horvath, and Tia Toomey advancing to the 390-pound bar.
All right, now here's what we're seeing from Laura at 385. It's smooth once she gets it off the floor. No problem as the bar passes her knees. Tia equally has a great brace, and the bar moves quickly to her mid-thigh, and then there's a slight hitch there as she shifts her hips forward to get her shoulders behind the bar. That is the area that we're gonna wanna watch on her deadlift in the lifts to come, where the bar starts to slow, as it won't be off the floor. It will be as the bar passes her knees will start to be some of the precursing moments to whether the lift's gonna happen or not.
Now down to the final 5 women, and we move to that home plate platform. And the weight going up to 390. Milligan, Spiegel, Kazan, Horvath, and Toomey, all still alive here. And this is where it gets fun.
This is.
Now we got one platform under the lights here at Dell Diamond Stadium. Packed house. Here we go.
The crowd will turn up for every lift now. Like, they know who they're watching, one person at a time. This is where it gets very electric, and that adrenaline boost actually adds another 10 levels to the experience when you're the athlete out there on the platform with something going on like this.
And of course, it's the last barbell, so you gotta make it look cool. Wrapped in the Texas state flag here.
Wow. Rogue pulls all the stops, man. That is amazing. That's a great bar. Who gets to take that home?
Maybe the winner.
I thought I heard it was the commentary team.
I would not. Yeah, that's exactly what I heard.
Like, man, I could really use a nice deadlift bar.
Milligan chalking up that barbell, as she will be, it looks to be the first woman out. It'll be her, then Spiegel, then Kazan, then Horvath and Toomey. 390 now on the bar. Milligan takes center stage here. Get herself focused. She has looked really good as these weights have gotten heavier.
She has looked really good, and this is the first time. Okay, there we see her break the ice with a little bit of a smile. But this is the most focused and most dialed in that she's been to address any barbell up into this point. So it tells me that we're getting up towards some of those weights that are threshold for her. Sean, I didn't have a listed 1RM, but I did see that she did 330 for 10 before.
That'll do. 390 for Milligan. And she will get it.
Wow.
Now Danny Spiegel stepping up to 390 pounds. Spiegel guaranteeing herself, another top 5 finish to follow up her win earlier today in the duel.
Danny's last lift started to slow right around that mid-thigh area. She gives the bar a couple hitches in order to lock it out. Takes a half second to get it off the floor, but that area of the lift is pretty clean for her up into this point. So let's see how she does at 390.
13th place, looking to crack the top 10 here. And 390 will count for Danny Spiegel.
Worked her way through that sticking point nicely. She knows where it is. She probably knows of that area of weakness for herself. She can get it past her knee. She knows she's got to finish the lift by pulling those shoulders back and hiking that hip forward.
Alex Kazan, third woman to attempt 390 pounds here. Oh, come on. That is too easy for Alex Kazan. Great lift. Might need to get some more weights out to home plate for Alex Kazan. That was impressive. And Laura Horvath stepping up to 390 pounds as Tia Toomey looks on.
More with her laser focus we're very used to. And at 385, I gotta say, she moved it like it was 305. Just every bar has continued to look the same up until this point.
390, current fittest woman on earth. And that is good for Laura Horvath. Tia Toomey to close out this round at 390 pounds. Three-time Rogue Invitational champion, 6-time fittest woman on earth, first attempt at 390. And she has it. All 5 women advance to 395 pounds.
Great lift there by Tia. Again, 390 beltless. Flexing that strong core that she's continuing to build. Spiegel almost floated to her toes a little bit on that. If the next rep she can stay back in the midfoot and keep her heels down, it's going to help her a ton. I'm surprised she was able to recoup and save that. Laura Horvath consistent this entire time. 390 looking a touch slower than 385 though, so she's showing some of those humanistic traits. And then Tia Claire Toomey, mixed grip, a little hitch there at the mid-thigh to the lockout, but still high quality off the floor.
All 5 women staying alive through the 390-pound bar. And we move on to 395 pounds. And we're going to make 5-pound jumps until we have a winner here. Kyra Milligan will be up first. Milligan has guaranteed herself her best finish of the competition. The worst she can do is 5th here in this event. 395 for Milligan. And that is good. for Kyra Milligan.
Amazing lift for her. She made that look the same as she did 390. I expected a little bit more slowing to happen as the bar passed her knee, but she did a fantastic job.
Now Danny Spiegel will be up next.
One of the big cues for me, Sean, and every athlete that I get an opportunity to work with when you address the bar for a deadlift is that you want to squeeze it as tight as you can. You want to make sure that no matter what grip you choose, that you're putting as much power into that bar as possible with your grip to make it sure.
Spiegel will hitch that up and is good. Danny Spiegel moving on.
And that was a better, more sound lift than her last attempt. So that's good. That's a good sign for Danny. She's still got some room left before she hits her threshold, and I think she was much better there at staying flat-footed throughout, even with that hitch in the middle. She didn't come to her toes as much.
Now Alex Kazan, who tore through the 390-pound barbell. Let's see what this one looks like at 395. And I'd say that looks just fine.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Sure does.
Alex Kazan through 395 with no problem. Laura Horvath will be the next lifter. And even though that last lift slowed, as you mentioned, the form looked the same as it has throughout this event.
That's right. She pulls the bar off the floor, very sound. She addresses the bar, shins close to the bar, shoulders activated, keeps it close to her legs throughout the pull, hips and shoulders rise together, extends the hip at the top.
395 is good. Laura Horvath, and now Tia Toomey to close out this round at 395.
Executes this lift, you'll probably see a slight rounding of her upper back as before the bar starts to leave the ground here. But she's going to brace through her midline and through her mid-back to make sure that nothing changes there.
Crowd behind Tia Toomey, 395. And that is good. And all 5 women now move up to 400 pounds.
Flex off here. Who can deadlift all night? That's what they keep walking back to the line to say. Hey, I can do this all night.
I'm sure the fans will have no problem with that. Everyone loves watching big weights going up under the lights. Let's start with Kyra Milligan, first woman out.
Yeah, and she's done a great job lift after lift, Sean. She's executing at a very high level. We know she was looking forward to the max lift, probably no matter what it was. And then Alex Kazan, the woman that we talked about at the start of this event, when we talk about anthropometrics, we're talking about limb length in relation to your torso, in relation to your leg length, and she's kind of built a deadlift. Tia-Clair Toomey doing Tia-Clair Toomey things, just being undeniable in regards to the way that she presents her fitness. No matter what the test is, she's going to be a threat to come out on top no matter what.
400 pounds now on the barbell. 5 women remain. And Kyra Milligan is set to kick things off here.
.400 is one of those benchmark numbers, and if you've ever maxed out any lift, if you're watching, if you're listening, you know sometimes numbers get in your head. So it's like you might not know what's on there. You just go pick it up because you're naive.
Well, how many times do you hear that when someone says, "Yeah, I didn't even know how much was on the bar, and I lifted it. It turned out to be a PR."
That's right. So not only is this a heavy weight, but you got to wonder, is 400 pounds one of those numbers for some of these women where they're like, oh, can I lift it?
Kyra Milligan at 400.
She's got it. Stand it up.
Oh, so close for Milligan.
So close. What a great effort.
395 pounds is going to be her best lift. This will be her best finish of the competition. I thought she had it.
3, 2, 1, rotate. All right, here we go. Dixie Spiegel up next. 400 pounds.
Here's Danny Spiegel. 400 pounds. 4 women left. And Spiegel is going to get that.
Sean, I think she's getting stronger. I think she's getting stronger. The last 3 bars have almost improved from what that 4th bar was.
Spiegel's through 400. Now Alex Gazan is coming up. These are the listed PRs for these top 3 women. Spiegel at 420, Toomey at 415, Horvath at 405. Alex Gazan at 400. No problem for Alex Gazan.
It's amazing.
Wow.
She does such a great job, Sean, of keeping the bar close to her legs, no matter where it is on its journey up. A lot of times athletes drive their hips up, the knee creeps back, and then the bar's hanging out in space. Alex does an amazing job at keeping her shoulders active, which means her lats pulled back and together to keep that bar really close to her spine. That's what keeps her safe, but also that's what keeps the weight traveling vertically.
Laura Horvath 5 pounds under her listed PR. And she will make it. And again, the form looks the same. Maybe the speed doesn't,
That's right.
but the form certainly does.
That's right, and that's what you want to have no matter what. In order to keep yourself safe and continuing to perform at a very high level, you want to change as little as possible and just rely on sound mechanics, folks. Stick to the basics. Stick to the basics.
Now Toomey. Close things out here at 400 pounds. Tia Toomey will get it. 4 women left. We're going up to 405. This will be the 14th barbell that these women will attempt. As we move up to 405 pounds, 4 women remain. Spiegel, Gazan, Toomey, and Horvath.
Kyra putting up a great effort. That bar made it all the way past her knees into her thigh position, but she just couldn't reach extension at the very top. Chose to bow out. Great effort by her. Spiegel, on the other hand, pulling with almost more speed and ferocity at 400 pounds than we saw her pull 395. And then Tia on this lift, a little slower off the floor, knows just at the right time, though, when to hitch forward to pull the bar back and keep it closer in order to finish and have success. Again, just a champ doing champ things.
405 now on the barbell. We have updated scores for the weight. And remember, women who bowed out at the same barbell, their time in the jerry can carry for time, that will be used as the tie break. Spiegel, Gazan, Horvath, and Toomey still lifting. The 14th round here, 14th barbell that they have lifted.
Yeah, it's not just the measure of strength here, folks. This is the measure of accumulated volume and fatigue that these women have endured all day long, but through the previous 14 lifts.
Keep the rest consistent here. Since this would have been Milligan's spot, the clock is going to start, but no one's going to lift.
Which is needed, I would say. I think that's a very very wise way to approach such an event. It really allows us to see the most from these athletes instead of shortening the time of recovery between lifts.
Danny Spiegel will be up first at 405. 15 pounds away from her listed PR of 420. Danny Spiegel at 405. And she will get it. Alex Gazan will be up next. This would be a PR for Gazan. And she gets it, no problem.
Still looking very clean for Alex. Very clean lifts all the way through the night. If that's truly a PR, very impressively done for her.
405 for Alex Gazan. That's a PR for her. And now, Laura Horvath at 405. And she has it. Laura Horvath, 405, and now Tia Toomey is up next. Still 4 women remain. Toomey will be the last to go here at this weight.
It's just like we've said time and time again for Laura. Textbook technique, just a little bit slower than the lift before, but she's staying in the fight. She's doing a great job at it. Tia's got to bring some fight to this lift here.
Still under her listed PR of 415 pounds. Again, this is the 14th time that she has lifted in this event. 405 is not going to go for Toomey. She will take 4th. Now this is big for Horvath because Horvath can erase the remainder of that deficit and overtake Toomey for the top spot on the leaderboard. 3 women are left. Toomey will take 4th place. That should be good for 85 points.
Spiegel at 405, making it look no different than she did 390. The last 3 bars, I'm telling you, she's just getting stronger. She's finding a groove. Alex Gazan, again, killing it with the bar pad, keeping it close, tracing her legs with the bar each and every repetition. And then Laura Horvath, no change to her technique throughout, just a touch slower to get that weight moving every time. 405, it doesn't look like that's slowing her down.
And still going with that double overhand grip. As Danny Spiegel, Alex Gazan, and Laura Horvath are still alive here as we go up to 410 pounds.
Yeah, I really like the double overhand grip with the hook grip intact. It has some great carryover to the cleans and other lifts that we do from the floor in our methodology in the sport. You know, it also creates a little bit more of a symmetrical setup. When we turn one hand under, supinate the grip, it tends to kind of drop that shoulder on that side. And we do a lot of pulling, we do a lot of hinging from the ground, so those reps add up. And when you think about keeping the body as symmetrical as possible, or as even as possible, it's something that a lot of athletes should consider.
Danny Spiegel kind of jumped the gun here. Again, they're trying to keep the rest the same round to round. This would be where Kyra Milligan, if she were still in, would be lifting. Now, Spiegel will step up to the 410-pound barbell here. Or 10 for Spiegel. And that will count.
Yeah, nope. I mean, wow. The way she's able to get through her hitch, how explosive the change of speed is from just below the knee to above the knee in order to surpass that weak portion of her is impressive. The one thing she's got to watch as the weight gets heavy is not getting out of control with the hitch. You can throw her forward a bit and eventually lead to her missing a lift if she's not careful.
Now Alex Gazan continuing to make heavyweight look light. She's through 410.
Textbook form, rep after rep, continues to look the same. A little slower there on that pull. Very impressive by Alex.
Laura Horvath to close things out here at 410 pounds. And your defending Rogue Invitational champion will make that lift. Let's go up to 415.
Let's keep this party going. I'm here for the night, says Laura. Hey, and I'll tell you what, the beauty in that is that she literally cracked a smile, Sean, just as that bar sweeped past a point in her pull where it was clearly very familiar to her. Like she was like, hey, if I can just, come on, let me fight through this point. And she knew she had it locked up. That was fun.
Empty slot here on the barbell.
Spiegel, Gazan, and Horvath all good at 410.
And all different lifting techniques. Spiegel, a little bit of rounding in her upper back in the setup position. Great speed past the knee and then the little hitch at the thigh. Still gets it. Alex Gazan consistent off the floor from rep 1 all the way through rep 15 here, rep 16 here. And Laura Horvath, textbook, look at the smile break across her face. She almost couldn't hold it in there as the bar passed her knee. She knew she had it there. Great lift and execution. We live to lift another barbell tonight.
And we go into round 16. We're deep into the extra innings here. 415 being loaded onto that bar. Spiegel, Gazan, and Horvath, your final 3 women left. We still have the men to go, and they are just now walking out onto the field down the third base line. There's still plenty of big weights to go up here.
Plenty of big weights.
Spiegel and Gazan talking things over. Laura Horvath is getting belted up and getting ready here. Let's not lose track of the fact that Laura Horvath could take the overall lead. She had a 10-point deficit that she needed to make up on Toomey. As long as she finishes second or better here in this event, with Toomey finishing in 4th, they could be tied going into the final day.
Yep. So Tia's sitting back and she's hoping, from her perspective, hey, come on, Danny. Come on, Alex. Keep pulling through for me. Keep this bar getting heavier. Hopefully Laura bows out.
No lifter going is, again, keeping the rest consistent to keep things fair here. As Danny Spiegel is getting set up to make an attempt at 415 pounds. The 16th barbell that she will attempt.
3, 2, 1, rotate.
Here we go, Danny Spiegel, 415. Cinches up the belt.
Danny Spiegel looking to finish the work at 415.
And Danny Spiegel hitching it up, and it will count. 415 is good. I don't know why she said she wasn't looking forward to this, because she's doing extremely well.
Hey, listen, the deadlift might not be her favorite lift, but it is certainly still one of her strongest lifts. And we know that she's familiar with the spotlight and with that center stage down there at the Rogue Invitational on a Saturday night, so we're not surprised.
Alex Gazan trying to get the crowd behind her. 415 for Gazan is good.
I mean, oh, just impressive.
Now here's Laura Horvath to close things out at 4:15.
Laser focus here for Laura. She's made a belt switch. So she went and got her leather belt where it has fixed distances, probably a little bit more firm on her torso here, easier to brace into.
Laura Horvath, 4:15. Past the knees, and Horvath has it.
That might be the most impressive deadlift we've seen here tonight, honestly. The time that it took and the focus that she was able to sustain a firm body posture, no rounding of her back, and fight through those sticking points that start to present themselves, that is impressive.
We go into the 17th barbell now, 420 pounds. This is Spiegel's listed PR coming up here. Gazan is just setting new PRs every time she rips that thing off the ground.
Take a look at Danny Spiegel here. Again, fast off the ground. A couple hitches, maybe an extra one there that we've seen in previous barbells. But still, I mean, the speed that she gets that bar to her mid-thigh position, Sean, is just straight up impressive. And then Alex Gazan just showing up at every barbell, every lift looking the same, a touch slower, but still making it happen. And Laura, with definitely her slowest lift of the night, but that doesn't take away the quality of it. Every lift has looked the same for her as well.
420 being loaded onto the barbell here. Again, the 17th barbell that these women have attempted. Danny Spiegel's had herself a great day so far. 13th place overall, but she moved up 4 spots after her win in the duel. And now another top 3 finish here could put her into the top 10. She was only 35 points back of Manon Anganese for 10th. Alex Gazan came in 9th place overall. She's looking to move up the overall standings, and Laura Horvath is possibly looking to move into the overall lead.
Here we go.
Spiegel at 420. No problem getting it to her knees, and now can she hitch it up? She can indeed, and Danny Spiegel will hit 420.
Wow. Great lift there by Danny. She's definitely getting towards the end of her threshold. You can tell that lift took a lot more out of her than the previous ones that we've seen here tonight. Form didn't look that much different, but you can just tell the time under tension, the amount of hitches that it took for her to get that bar up to the top of her thigh to an open hip. It definitely cost her a bit more energy. Great lift there by Spiegel.
Alex Gazan at 420. And that is going to go for Alex Gazan.
10 minutes ago, I said sarcastically that she might deadlift 430 today. Now all of a sudden that sarcasm is right out the door. And that's what she might need to lift if she wants to come away the victor in this event, which is just astonishing that after all the events that these ladies have gone through so far, here in event 6, day 3 of competition at the Rogue Invitational, we're seeing 420 come up off the ground like this.
Here's Laura Horvath. She was, I think, maybe talking to her coach in the crowd to see what kind of advice that she could get here. We'll see if Laura Horvath can get 420 to count. And she just can't get it past that point, so Laura Horvath will finish 3rd in this event. So she'll pick up 5 points on Toomey. Toomey will remain the overall leader, but it's razor thin now.
Yeah, what a great job there by Laura Horvath. Great event for her overall. These women are getting an update for what's to come here.
We have 2 women remaining as we take one more look back here at Danny Spiegel.
Again, Spiegel with the amazing speed off the floor. A couple hitches there to extend her hip at the top. Folks, when she's hitching that bar, it takes a little bit of the pressure off her spine to extend, and it allows it to become weightless just for a second so she can lock it out at the top. And then Alex Gazan, of course, with a smooth, steady lift from the ground to the top, just like we've seen all night long.
We have moved up to 425 pounds. Alex Gazan and Danny Spiegel sharing a laugh here as they're putting in some extra work. They have 4 minutes to rest. They can go whenever they want, but they can't use that whole 4 minutes if they want. But at the end of that, they got to start lifting.
Those things are tightening up a little bit.
Alex, yeah, you go ahead, Danny.
Yep.
You go first.
Hey, have at it.
Be my guest. But once again, Danny Spiegel finds herself as one of the last women standing in the max lift event. Last year it was with a log, this year it's with a barbell, and there's 425 pounds on it. 425 for Danny Spiegel. Not able to get it, so if Alex Gazan hits this, she wins it outright. If she misses, it comes down to their time on the tiebreak event that was held, seems like yesterday. It'll come down to the time.
Oh, you gotta love it.
Danny Spiegel will have the tiebreaker here. So this is for the win for Alex Gazan, and Spiegel is trying to get the crowd on its feet here. Gazan for the win.
Easy money.
425 is good for Alex Gazan, and she takes home the event victory.
So let me do some calculations real quick. 425 pounds. She's also got a listed bench press, Sean, at 270. What can Alex Gazan do? Oh my goodness.
425, it took 18 barbells, but we finally get there, and Alex Gazan picks up her first career event win here at the Rogue Invitational.
And it's got to be a great feeling, particularly with the circumstance. It's elimination. We whittled the field down to one and only one athlete, and that got to be Alex tonight. Got to flex her strength here. We talked about her having some natural advantages for the deadlift, the long arms, great setup position, and she excelled tonight under the lights. You gotta love it for a young competitor. This is what builds momentum into someone's career, Sean. Someone that's trying to make a push to advance themselves through the upper echelon of the CrossFit competitive space. This is where these memories are stored, and it just continues to build momentum for her going forward, not just through the rest of this weekend, but through some of the years to come.
Alex Gazan with the event win, 425 pounds. Danny Spiegel's going to take second. Laurel Horvath picks up another 5 points on Tia Toomey. And Kyra Milligan